Yo, what it do, y'all? I'm your host, Will. Welcome to Phantom Frequency, where we dive into all various types of topics of pop culture, man. Movies, TV, animes, music. We talk about all of that and more around these parts, so make sure you're clicking the buttons below the video, showing that support for the channel. We're trying to grow it slowly but surely every single day. Appreciate all you people coming in, leaving comments, likes, and just supporting the channel overall. But with no further ado, it's time for us to dive into all the topics today that we have on the 12th episode of What's the Word, baby, where we dive into all the different news topics throughout the week. Some of these topics are from last week, some of these are from this week. There's some updates and whatnot. So we will be getting into all that. And we're going to have two of these episodes for you guys this week because between last week and this week, I would say from last Thursday till now, there has been a ton of topics going on and a lot of cool stuff, trailers and whatnot. Marvel's been releasing a ton of stuff, as you can see right there. So let's get right into this first topic. And we're going to be talking about that official trailer that came out, the first full-length trailer for Captain America 4, aka the Brave New World. Obviously starring Anthony Mackie there, Sam Wilson. Falcon is now upgraded to Captain America fully after Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then you got Torres, who's going to be his Falcon. A lot of cool stuff going on there. Harrison Ford is the Red Hulk. Got a little bit of a glimpse of Sidewinder, played by the great Giancarlo Esposito. And we got a little bit of a tease at the leader from Timothy Blake Nelson, I think is the guy's name, if I'm remembering correctly, from The Incredible Hulk 2008. So, yeah, phase one, beginning of MCU, man. Woo! Almost 20 years, y'all. Crazy shit, right? But I got to say, I dug this trailer overall. I'm really digging the political thriller, Jack Ryan type of vibe that this is giving off in the trailer. And not just because Harrison Ford's in it, but that definitely lends to it as well. And getting to see him come into and step into the role of Thaddeus Ross after the previous actor. Forgive me for forgetting his name, but I do remember that he did pass on about a year or two, a few years ago, I think in 2021, right before or right after the release of Black Widow. I believe he passed away. William Hurt. There you go. Sorry about that. Harrison Ford's obviously stepping in for that. We get a lot more glimpses at what his position kind of is against Captain America. And obviously him hulking out and going against Sam Wilson there at the end, where you get the really cool overhead shot of Sam Wilson doing a flip and cutting the car that Red Hulk throws at him with his wings. Really awesome stuff. And there's a lot of great action scenes in the trailer. And we got this really interesting element or development kind of with Isaiah Bradley stepping into this thing as well, where he tries to assassinate the president from what it looks like. And there's some kind of Winter Soldier type programming going on where he doesn't seem to remember a thing, but is aware that there's something dark and sinister out there that's approaching and is warning Sam to be careful there in the top of the trailer. Yeah, so there's a lot of really cool political intrigue going on. Definitely a lot of Winter Soldier vibes and things like that. Really dug that and getting to see a glimpse of the leader. And I think he might even be in cahoots with Thaddeus Ross. And that might be where he's kind of saying in that voiceover, I think you don't realize really what side you're on and really what's going on. And I think that's what it is. I think Thunderbolt Ross is dealing with the leader doing some underhanded shit, some corrupt shit, low key behind the scenes, in order to get this Captain America and maybe get their own government-led Avengers or government-appointed heroes, similar to what they were trying to do in Falcon Winter Soldier with John Walker's character as taking on the mantle of Captain America initially, before they thought that Sam was even worthy or anyone else was for it. The government has been seeming to want to seize control, even through characters like Julia Louis-Dreyfus's, what the hell is her name? Allegra De Fontaine or something like that. So depending on where things go in Thunderbolts with that, there's a lot of interesting elements with this trailer. Wasn't necessarily my favorite trailer out of the ones that they released, but I did think it was a really solid trailer. There's been a lot of talks behind the scenes that this movie might not be that great. I don't know. I'm just going to wait till February 14th next year on Valentine's Day weekend. Go check it out, judge it for myself. But what did y'all think about this latest trailer from Captain America Brave New World? Are you hyped for Cap 4? Could you care less? Are you excited to see Harrison Ford Hulk out? I know I sure as hell am. But let's move into the next topic here with Marvel doing that D23 in Brazil, releasing a bunch of information about another film right here. Thunderbolts releasing another trailer where they kind of give you a character breakdown of everybody like Yelena and Red Guardian, aka Alexei, Bucky getting his reintroduction back in here, Ghost, so on and so forth. And I really dug this trailer. And every time I've been seeing footage from this movie, it is just generally getting me more and more excited. I absolutely love this trailer. I love the fun vibe that's going on. I like the camaraderie and the team dynamic. And it gives me Avengers vibes, but also gives me vibes of like what Suicide Squad should have been initially coming out the gate in DC, even though James Gunn kind of or definitely redeemed that and did a very great job. It definitely takes shades of what he was kind of doing with the Suicide Squad, the sequel, as opposed to the first film that Warner Brothers fucked up with David Ayer. I don't think we'll ever see the David Ayer cut, but y'all know what I'm saying. This is definitely Marvel's answer to the Suicide Squad. Really, really love the vibe here. I like how Yelena Belova is kind of front and center, kind of leading the team, kind of leading the charge and all that. A lot of questions going on for the character of Bob, played by Lewis Pullman, who is Bill Pullman's son, who played the president in Independence Day and was also Mr. Lone Star in Spaceballs. For all my 80s movie fans out there and my Star Wars nerds, you know the deal. But yeah, man. So a lot of really cool things going on here, and there's a lot of questions with his character Bob being the Sentry. All these different things going on. I really, really, really love this trailer and getting to see that Allegra De Fontaine has bought Avengers Tower, pouring the same drink at the same bar as Tony Stark in Avengers 1. So they're definitely pulling shades from that. I love the Terminator vibes with freaking Bucky coming in, coming after this team. I think initially going on his own accord or potentially set in by the government to take care of these fools, where I think Allegra De Fontaine was setting them up to get taken off the board so they can get their new government appointed Avengers, which I think our new Dark Avengers and our new team is going to be this team, which is why I think the whole joke at the end of the trailer or near the end of the trailer with the Thunderbolts name being dumb, no one else really feeling it, and Alexi being the one to kind of suggest the idea. Also, how that can tie into Harrison Ford's Thaddeus Ross transitioning and kind of pivoting away from Captain America 4, not in a bad way, but just kind of how those two movies can kind of go hand in hand as like a 1-2 punch for the more political street level Avenger or more political kind of global political Avengers things going on. I think there could be a lot of crossover here with these two films, and I think there is a definitive reason why they are back to back. But this thing's coming out May 7th, 2025. It is quickly becoming one of my most anticipated movies of the year. And honestly, even though Fantastic Four seems really cool, we haven't seen a frame of it yet. So I really can't judge the vibe really so far and kind of comparing the two. So out of all the superhero fare next year, I would say this is potentially my most anticipated project right there with James Gunn's Superman. So I'm really loving everything going on with Thunderbolts. Y'all let me know if you dug the trailer, where your hype level is for it. Are you somewhere where I'm at, where you really loved it, or you kind of just meh on it? Y'all, please let me know what you're thinking about that down below in the comment section. But we also got a trailer for the very next MCU project, which is going to be dropping this year, December 22nd. And I think they'll be dropping episodes every single day leading up to Christmas or the end of the year. That's What If Season 3 over there on Disney Plus. Now, for those that maybe don't know, because I don't know, I can't remember if we quite did full-on season reviews of 1 and 2. I'm pretty sure we did do weekly reviews for that. But either way, just giving my quick opinions of the first two seasons. Really dug them. I prefer season 2 over season 1 for sure, but there's definitely some really good bangers in season 1 as well. So don't want to throw any shade on that. But this season 3 trailer looks like a lot of fun. This is going to be the conclusion of the series. They have announced that as well. And we got some really cool things going on here. Apparently, there's going to be Blade as Moon Knight. So that's going to be his introduction into the MCU proper. We're getting the voice actors from X-Men 97 coming in as Aurora playing Storm. What if she was carrying Mjolnir and kind of became the god of thunder or the goddess of thunder, my bad. And we got a lot of other cool stuff like Shang-Chi and the Wild Wild West and some other fun things of that nature. So, and we get the big tease of those multiple watchers and things like that. So what the hell does that mean? What's going to be kind of the thread going through this season, and does it tie into the previous two? Is it going to be its own self-contained story while taking on this anthology format throughout the multiverse? Is the multiverse going to collapse and set up a bunch of incursions that are going to lead into Secret Wars? Kind of doubt it, but that's a theory I've seen floating around. But if they really wanted to tie in What If in a real way, that's really going to make sense and really tie things in really well with the live action and really build things up a bit better. Maybe that's part of the plan. Who knows? I would love to see that personally as a fan myself. But y'all, please let me know what you think about this What If Season 3 trailer. Are you hyped for it? Could you care less? And yeah, it's going to be coming out in holiday season, the week of Christmas, December 22nd. Going to be a good time, man. Going to be a good time. You'd be a nerd. But we also got some other fun Marvel-ish news kind of here from from the mouth of Denzel Washington himself, man. He just recently confirmed all the projects he has coming up over the next few years that he's going to do in the lead up to ultimately retiring as an actor for good, as they always say. But he did drop in there that Ryan Coogler is apparently writing him a part for Black Panther 3. We haven't had any confirmation of a Black Panther 3 from Marvel Studios, Ryan Coogler, or anyone else involved in it in that capacity. But this is kind of the first tease at that. The previous film, Wakanda Forever, the sequel, of course, I think that did make somewhere around $600-700 million. So it definitely should have been profitable for the studio. And we all know the first one made $1 billion and got nominated for Best Picture. So that was a far and away huge success, and one of the biggest successes in the genre and for its own respective franchise of the MCU and Disney proper. So really interesting. I don't really know who Denzel would necessarily play, but hearing and seeing Denzel Washington in the MCU, them casting him, sign me up. I really hope this is true and everything comes to fruition in the future, post Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, 2028 and beyond. I'm really excited to see what they could do with the Black Panther 3. Are they going to recast and bring in a T'Challa? Is Shuri going to keep leading the charge? Are they going to age up his son, jump into the future with a time jump? Who the hell knows? But I am definitely hella curious to see Denzel Washington in the Marvel universe and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to be exact. And getting to see him work with Ryan Coogler, I think is exciting. He's one of my favorite filmmakers working today. Literally, his film Sinners is my most anticipated movie of next year. I love Ryan Coogler's work. He is, to me personally, he is 4 for 4. I think Wakanda Forever is probably his weakest film, but it's still a really good, poignant film and one of the better films in post Phase 4 Marvel. So I definitely dug it, and I love Ryan Coogler's work. So I'm there day one for anything him or Denzel are doing. But y'all let me know. Do you want to see Denzel Washington in the Marvel Universe? Do you think it's too shocking? Are you not going to be able to get past it and just buy him as the character? Y'all let me know what your feelings are on that. I know that's definitely something that comes up in discussion for these things at times. So y'all let me know what you think about it. Our next topic here is another cool one. We finally got the premiere date for Andor Season 2. I absolutely love that first season as a Star Wars fan. This is more of what we need these days, but it's going to be dropping April 22nd, 2025. And Empire Magazine also dropped a couple stills of whatnot of Orson Krennic and, of course, Diego Luna's Cassian Andor there. And this is going to be going over the next few years, kind of leading right into them discovering the plans for the Death Star and everything that's teeing up the 2016 film Rogue One there. That's obviously the prequel to the original trilogy and everything we've come to know through the Skywalker saga from that point into the post-Mandalorian timeline that we're kind of playing around in nowadays. But I'm super duper excited for this series. I love season 1. Most Star Wars fans seem to be in agreement there. Some Star Wars fans found it a bit boring and a little slow. I don't personally agree with that. I get the slow criticism of it because it was a little bit slower paced, obviously, but I never found it boring or was there was only one episode where it started to lose my interest a little bit, but after that, it might have been episode 2, but after that, episodes 3 and on, to me, just went in a really great trajectory. I loved how the series was like a string of mini arcs that kind of set up Cassian Andor's character into getting into the rebellion and everything that kind of set the stage for where the rebellion will be leading things in through the Clone Wars period into the original trilogy and Rebels and all that stuff. So I've really dug everything going on with Cassian Andor. I'm so glad that they've expanded things beyond Rogue One because that is definitively the best Star Wars movie we've had over the last several years. I still love episode 7, but I do think Rogue One is the better movie and definitely plays better as a prequel and standalone film in a certain sense as well, setting things up in the original trilogy as far as the rebellion and things going on with the Empire without diving too much into character cameos and nostalgia, just emptiness and just kind of setting the stage for something we've all been curious about as Star Wars fans, or at least those of us from the prequel generation to the original trilogy generation. We always wondered about that and really was curious to see how they got their hands on the Death Star plans, because we know a group of Bothans got them in the second go round in Return of the Jedi, because Mon Mothma literally said that herself in one of the lines in the movie. So I really can't wait to see what Cassian Andor is going to do in this series. Can't wait to see the way they're gonna set things up. K2SO should definitely be popping up in this thing and getting to see how him and Cassian Andor met in canon, even though technically they have explored that in comic books. I don't think they're gonna necessarily address it the same way or reinterpret it the same way. But hey, I could be wrong, but I doubt it with Lucasfilm being all over the place these days. But y'all let me know what your hype level is for Andor Season 2 coming out April 22nd of 2025, y'all. I'm sure it's going to be weekly premieres on Disney Plus, and we're going to have weekly reviews. So don't be sleeping on that shit right there, man. This story we got to get into real quick because this shit is funny to me. Wicked is a movie coming out based off the Broadway play that tells the prequel story, speaking of prequels, of the Wizard of Oz and how the Wicked Witch and the Nice Witch or whatever became mortal enemies and were sisters or whatever the fuck happens in that thing. But the funny thing was there was a misprint on the toys and the marketing totally fucked up because it had wicked.com. And I'm not trying to advocate anything that's against YouTube guidelines, but that ends up leading to an adult entertainment porn, essentially, website. And they had to get all these toys off the shelf. And whoever made this misprint is looking on Indeed right now for a job because they fucked up, man. And like I said, without getting too detailed here, I ain't gonna act like I've never watched porn or anything like that. And I'm aware of that. They made a lot of those Avengers kind of movie parodies. They had one of the biggest porn films, I think, on DVD in that DVD era with the Stagnetti pirate thing. So yeah, so I'm aware of what's going on, and let me tell you, for kids to discover that is their first porn site, wow, because that shit's pretty racy. So yeah, so just thought that was a funny one to throw in here. And if anyone out there has one of these toys, please get in the comments below and let me know, because you need to list that on eBay and sell that shit because you can make a lot of money. And I wish I could have got my hands on one of those damn things because I would have loved to have sold that myself on eBay or at an auction. That is for sure. But here's the last news story of the episode. And that is going to be about Christopher Nolan's next movie. Has some more casting, y'all. We got two powerhouse actresses joining the cast here. We got Zendaya joining her man, Tom Holland, over there in the Christopher Nolan film, Untitled. We don't know exactly what the premise or story is going to be. And then you got the great Anne Hathaway working with Christopher Nolan again after working with him on The Dark Knight Rises back in 2012. Remember going to see that premiere. What a hell of a time that was. But yeah, man. So you got these two great actresses that are going to be popping up in Christopher Nolan's next movie. Like I said, there's no exact plot details. We've heard rumors of 20th century vampires, but I think people might be just hearing, I don't know. That'd be kind of weird within a year of each other, kind of having to see Ryan Coogler make a vampire movie set in like the Jim Crow era, and then getting to see another tour in one of the best ones working today, arguably the GOAT, some people say, of the current directors, Christopher Nolan, getting to get his take on it. I just hope it's a horror thriller film in some form, in some capacity, because I've been dying to see him dive back into the world of thrillers, and I really want to see him do a full-on horror film. So, and getting to see Matt Damon and Tom Holland jump into that shit, that'd be awesome. So I'm really loving the casting information here. Zendaya is definitely grown into such a really strong actress, getting her start on, Nickelodeon and things like that, if I remember correctly. But y'all can let me know if I'm wrong there. And then Anne Hathaway's obviously been around for quite some time and is a really good actress when you get her in the right role. Not necessarily one of my personal favorite actresses, but I like her a lot. Zendaya is one of my favorites of the current or younger generation, so to speak, because I think I'm only a few years older than her. So of the current generation, I believe she might be just into the Gen Z. I'm not sure. I think the cutoff's like 97, 98. So I'd have to double check her age. But either way, I'm a big fan of hers. And she's a really good singer and performer as well. So getting to see her play in the world of Christopher Nolan, getting to work with one of the greatest auteurs of all time, I think is really, really cool. And I think is going to work out really well overall for the movie and getting this. And yeah, but I just really want to know what the hell this Christopher Nolan movie is going to be about. That's going to be the big news right there. But that's going to do it for us today on What's the Word. It's episode 12. Make sure you jump into those comments. Let us know which topic you dug the most. And we got another episode coming at y'all. Pretty much should be dropping around almost the same exact time. So you're going to have two of these episodes that cover all the big news topics going on the last week or so. So make sure you stay tuned. Don't sleep on any of the dopeness going on here on the channel. And until next time, stay safe out there. Much love. And we'll catch you again real soon, y'all. Peace.